Maz, every time I work with you, even though I know you and we're friends, I still get a little bit starstruck. So even having you in the studio, we've never had you in the studio on mine and Ali's show before. So a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
You're bringing in a book, which we've all had a little look at. I've seen some of the interviews that you've done as well. And this is quite an emotional one for you, really. It's called Hooked. It was released on Thursday. It's looking into addiction and the long road really to recovery. You speak about some of the addictions that you've suffered over the last 30 years. And I just wondered, when you were writing this book, how it felt, whether it was a difficult thing to write or whether it almost felt therapeutic in a way.
I wouldn't have done it if I didn't know in the end that I was ill, that I'm an ill person trying to get well. I think before I would never tell these stories or put a book out, because I used to hate myself. I used to think it was me. I was trying to be I thought I was a bad person trying to be good. And every time I tried to stop, or, I hated myself, my self-worth went out the window, and, my self-disrespect, everything like that. It was like, I used to beat myself up. I used to hate myself. I tried to kill myself on a few occasions as well through that. But when I realised that I had an illness and I need to get well instead of being a bad person trying to get good, then I thought, I've got to put this out there and put it, in paper and get it out for someone, just one person to read this and to stop going through what I went through for 36 years. And that is, you're ill, you've got an illness, you need to get well, not you're a bad person trying to get good. That
is such a key point with addiction, isn't it? That a lot of it comes from this self-sabotage place, isn't it? That you almost want to destroy what you are because you have such a dislike for yourself and who you are. How long did it take for you to get to that point where you realised that it's not you, it is an addiction and it is an illness?
About 3 years ago. Wow. About that. It's been just been a spiral. You sort of you start gambling and drinking. You're not coming home at night. You're losing all the money. You're not. You're just losing everything. You're letting people down left, right, and centre around you. So you hate yourself. As I said, your self-worth goes out the window. Self-respect, and you hate yourself with a passion. And I mean, I hate yourself with a passion. And then you think, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to stop feeling like this? And then you go, I know what I do. I start drinking and gambling again. And that's what you do. And then you just start over again. And then you come out of it again. And when you don't realise when you don't realise that you're an ill person, it's a horrible place to be. And that's why it's just trying to get someone to pick this book up and go, you know what? That's me. I'm ill. I'm not a bad person. And that's the most important thing that I would say to anybody. You're not a bad person trying to get good. You're an ill person trying to get well. And I think that's the thing that helped me.
Merce, can I ask you, mate?
Yeah.
Looking back, obviously times was a different era in terms of football, and that's what a lot of the guys did, myself included. You go for a couple of pints and you go to the horse race. You have a day out. How much do you think? Do you think you're a little bit unlucky in the respect that you think you're maybe a victim of your surroundings, or do you accept full responsibility and think, I just made bad choices effectively?
No, I don't take full responsibility. I've got an illness. This is an illness. It's something that I've got that. Wherever I was, whatever job I was in, it doesn't matter. This addiction, the illness and the addiction doesn't just take footballers. It takes anybody. It'll take postmen. It'll take dustmen. It'll take lawyers. It'll take film stars. It'll take actresses. It'll take anybody. This is not like a football thing. This is a life thing. So no, I don't think the football situation was. I done gambling. I done a lot of drinking with a lot of the lads at Arsenal. Mm-hmm. It was only really me and Tony Adams that struggled in the end. You know what I mean? So, I don't think it's well, I definitely know it's not football. This is a life thing for this. This affects anybody along the way. It doesn't matter if you're a professional footballer, or you could be the richest person in the world or the poorest person in the world. This can take anybody.
You've spoken about the loneliest of places being addiction and how it can enslave you essentially, and you cut yourself off from the people that love you and you hurt the people that love you as well. It's so isolating. And then you entered into lockdown, which for a lot of people who experience lockdown, especially if you were living your own, not even if you were living on your own, but if you just have that kind of isolating mind, is the worst thing that you can experience. What was your lockdown like?
It got badly as it went on. I think at the time when I look back now, I was very fortunate we had a garden. I had 2 little kids and we had a garden, and I still drive past like big apartment blocks now, and I sort of think, wow, do you imagine being in there? And you don't really understand that when you're in lockdown. You just take it for granted. You've got a garden, and it was sunny at the time, and it helped. But I feel for that. Yeah, I struggled in the end. I've got an addiction. I've got an addictive personality. I got addicted to the news. I got addicted. I was watching it all the time. I was making sure I was sitting down watching Boris Johnson and his things at 5 o'clock every night, every day, and all of a sudden my addiction took over again. And we'd saved hard for an house, part of a deposit for a house, not the whole deposit, but part, and it just like my addiction started talking to me again, and it was like, you're not coming out of this. We're not coming out. You're going to lose your job. There's no football. Every game's live now, and it was like, I've got to try and race this up, and that's the addiction in me. It's like, and I lost everything, absolutely everything again, and this is not, I'm not a professional footballer anymore. It doesn't take me 3 or 4 months to save a deposit for a house. This took a long of hard work, and then for the next 4, 5 weeks, 6, 7 weeks, you're looking at the kids and you just hate yourself because you think, I've just let you down so badly, and that was really when it hit home, and I was like, I need to get help now. I can't keep on living like this. It was.
Merson, I can only imagine, mate. I can only imagine what you're saying. Obviously, the addiction, but with the addiction, it makes you do things, and you're talking about you hate yourself after it. It must sink you into an unbelievable depression, mate.
An unbelievable one, Ali. Yeah, because it's the same cycle all the time. It's the addiction's it's so overwhelming. It's scary what it does. I mean, it really does. I think people out there who listen and who don't know the situation of addictions will be like, oh, he lost all that money, who cares, good job to him, he earned the money, and I understand them people, but they don't understand the addiction. With an addiction, you don't see the risk factor. Like if you put your hand in a fire, if you put it back, if you went to do it again, your brain would literally tell you, don't do that again. With addictions, the brain doesn't tell you that. Even though I've gone back to gambling or drinking so many times, the brain doesn't say, right, don't do this, because when you do this, you're going to become powerless over gambling and alcohol again. Your life's going to be horrible. I mean, it becomes a horrible place to be. The compulsion don't let you do that. And with the addiction, it talks to you, the addiction. It wants you on your own. It wants you away from people. It don't want me around my wife who loves me and my kids and my family. It wants me on my own. So, that's where it's dangerous as well, and I feel for people who were in lockdown as well, who were on their own. That's where the addiction wants you. And, I was fortunate, even though I messed up again. And I say messed up, I mean, you're always going to keep on doing it until you find out that you've got an illness. Until that happens, I don't see how you don't keep on messing up.
We have you, Paul Merson, for another 45 minutes, all the way until 10 a.m. this morning. And already we've had so many texts and tweets that are coming in. So many people are relating to you and what you're saying, and want you to talk more. So we're going to do more about this after the break. The new book is called Hooked. Stay tuned.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.